Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play. Well, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a little bit of what I've been up to in my own personal game, kind of thing, like a personal game overlook. So I am starting on my rotation number 2 in my personal Sims 2 to 4 because I have absolutely adored the way I'm designing this, even for my LP. And so in the first round, I played each household for 2 days. Ended up thinking 2 days isn't enough for me, and I didn't feel like I could connect with some of the families as much as I did others, which I mean, it's the same in The Sims 2. I really love my Pleasant View Sims. I don't know, they just have a special place in my heart, and it's kind of where I put a lot more of my dedication to the save file. Is a lot more of like where it's completely renovated rather than slightly renovated. And you can definitely see that with like the park and the 250 Main Street and the 330 Main Street. There's a lot going on here. But I kind of just want to go over some of like the stuff that I've done in this rotation more so. So in this rotation, I forgot that I hadn't completely renovated a lot of these lots. And so in the second rotation, I am going through when I play the households and completely renovating lots. So far this round, I have played all of the Pleasant View Sims and adored each and every one of them, as you know. So Don Lothario and Cassandra, let's load them first. All right, so here we are with Don and Cassandra Lothario. They live here in Don Lothario's condo as we know it. I have just renovated it. I try to keep the renovations to be the same shape of home, but just like a renovated outside and inside if I can. If the house is just absolutely appalling, because we all know the Sims 2 houses are, then I can sometimes add like a wall here or a wall there and completely renovate it, but kind of keep the same look to it or aesthetic to it. It's what I like to do because I'm not trying to make the lots look completely different. I'm just trying to make them look better. And so that's kind of what I went with here. So as you know, Don Lothario and Cassandra Goth are always engaged when you start a Sims 2 series. And so I did the same here, of course. They were engaged and they actually went through with the wedding. She moved in with him and they are now expecting their first baby. Cassandra is in her 3rd trimester and she should be giving birth in the next rotation, of course. She looks so adorable. I absolutely love Cassandra. She looks so stunning, and like Don Lothario is literally the luckiest man in the entire earth, but he doesn't even know it. And like, look at him, he looks so guilty because he is. So not only are they, just not only is Cassandra completely oblivious to Don Lothario's cheating, but she doesn't know it yet. But her stepmom, or yeah, technically stepmom, is Dina Goth, and she married obviously Mortimer, and they are happily married and yada yada. But they ended up having a baby. They, as in Don Lothario and Dina Goth, had a baby and named it Oliver Goth. Now, not only did Mortimer find out about this, Cassandra not so much, but he has told Dina that to spare his daughter's happiness and to, help also his wife, and because he is kind of older and he doesn't want to cause any riffraff with the family lines, he is deemed to consider Oliver to be his own, even knowing we know that Oliver is not. He is Don Lothario's. And Don Lothario also knows about Oliver, but has not said anything to Cassandra at all in the slightest. So that was something that happened right at the beginning of my rotation. I am so excited for Cassandra's baby. I know she's a wonderful mother in The Sims 2, and I can only imagine that she is going to be just as brilliant in The Sims 4. And she is absolutely stunning, if I have to say so myself. So I am absolutely in love with Cassandra. I love their storyline, the fact that it's messy and it has drama, but it's also very wholesome because, like Mortimer's trying to protect his daughter at the same time. He's also trying to protect his wife and his own sanity, of course. And he is also, just being a very, very kind human, I guess. So I am really, really happy with this storyline and how it's going. I cannot wait to see what happens from here on out. They obviously are not going to be able to live in the condo anymore after the baby ages up a bit because there is not really any space up here. Now, for a little bit, they could put the baby here in a little bassinet, and then they could obviously swap the bassinet out to be a crib. But once the baby becomes a toddler, this is probably not the best home for a toddler, and I'm thinking that they'll probably end up moving out and buying a new home. She got her inheritance from her dad, and so I think that she would want to have a big family, and so that's why I think that they would buy a new home. The only other thing that happened after this family was the whole Dina and Don thing with the baby. So I've already kind of touched bases on the Goth household. And if you're wondering, Alexander does still live with Mortimer, though he is enrolled in the boarding school for the richer families. So he is off at boarding school at the moment. But once he ages up to a teenager, he will come home for his birthday or when he's about to. And then he will also come home once he is about to age up to a young adult. So he has a little bit of time where he won't be with the family per se in the home, but that gives them a little bit of time to take care of little Oliver Goth, which I think is just absolutely adorable that Cassandra has like another technical little brother, but also like like stepson. It's kind of weird in a sense, but you know what I'm saying. And I just really love this family. You guys let me know what you guys think about the storyline for this family. Let's move on to the next family. I'm just going to cover Pleasant View in this video. And then if you guys really like it, I can do another town in the next video. So let me load up the next household. Okay, so as you know, the next household after the Goths that you would play would probably be the Caliente household, and this here is none other than Nina herself. Now, yes, you see it right, Nina is pregnant, but it's not with Don Lothario's baby, if that's what you're thinking. So there has been a bit of I don't even know how to say this, but a bit of a situation. So, Nina got abducted by aliens. And in my save file, I want to allow my women to get impregnated by aliens because I just think that makes sense to me in a sense. Men and women should be able to get pregnant by an alien, and that is what happened. She is not happy about the pregnancy, not in the slightest, and she is living in her normal apartment if you move her out of the house that her and her sister owned, and then they split the money. This is where she is living now. It is not great, it is not wonderful, is pretty small, and if she was to end up raising the baby, it would be a very tight squeeze to fit everybody in here. She has beautified the inside though, for sure. I'm absolutely in love with her apartment. I think it is absolutely stunning. I actually love all of these apartments. I do hate the front stairs, so I'm gonna have to change that out. But I did renovate the backyard for this. I put in one of those new playground sets for like the kids that live in this apartment building with like a little toddler slide, because there is a couple of people in here that are pregnant at the moment. There's the hot tub that I just put the one that's in the ground now because I really like it and I think it just kind of adds to it. I also changed the bar to be like the tiki bar just to make it something different. I gave it a closed in backyard with like the fence, but it's not completely closed in because it's like open at the front. I also added this little library and a little hopscotch court. But this is what it looks like, and I am keeping this whole block, and I will be changing the roofing, so don't worry. But I'm keeping the whole block in this like kind of like rundown looking outside um paint that was on the Lotharios and is also on this house across the street as well. This is the old Dina and Nina Caliente house. That's why it has a sign out front because it is being renovated. And then once it's renovated, someone can purchase it. I will be putting all of the empty homes will have one of these signs on it so that I can keep track of which houses are being sold and which are being lived in and all of that good stuff. And then I also have this house across the street that is also, I believe, empty and being renovated. So I have two houses on this block, and then this whole block will be done because this one, and this one are all lived in and renovated. But anyways, so Nina found out that she was pregnant by an alien, and she also has a fear of aliens after being abducted. So she is really freaking out. She has started going to therapy now with Lakshmi, which lives downstairs right here. She is the witch. But she is also the counselor, the psychiatrist, I mean. So she's seeing Lakshmi for some counseling about her having a baby that she doesn't want, for one, and for two, being pregnant by an alien, because I can only imagine how traumatizing that is. And when she told her sister, I'm sure you guys have seen it in a little short, they both started to cry at the same time. And it was like, oh my gosh, twins really do feel each other's pain. But other than that, Nina is living her life. She is very happy, and she definitely has a big catalog of Sims that she is attracted to, which is interesting. This is pollination technician that she got pregnant by, and once the baby is born, I'm going to make sure that it comes out as not as an alien, but it's got him as the father, because I think that would be great. For some reason, when I was choosing a sim for her to be pregnant with, I think it was part of my settings, it wasn't letting me to choose as anybody, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why now, but I didn't know at the time. So I ended up forcing her to be pregnant, and then I was just going to set the father in the end, once she was done with the pregnancy. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Hopefully we can get that all situated. Also, she did meet her new nephew, Oliver, and she was not told by Dina, because her and Dina don't get along. She was not told by Dina that this is Don's baby. So Nina is in the dark about it. The only person that absolutely knows is Mortimer Goth. So that is the story with Nina, and then let me show you the next family. Alrighty, so here we are with Brandy Broke's trailer herself. And I have renovated this trailer as well with that same kind of paint. It's just like the orange one. And I've also given it some really nice windows to go with it. I need to delete that. That was where there was like the pool or whatever, but I deleted it because I think it's weird. Anyways, so this is what the outside of Brandy Broke's trailer looks like, and I absolutely love it. I think it looks really cute for like a rundown kind of place. It's like really small, but it still looks really nice in a sense, like a rundown kind of nice, you know what I'm saying? Like a real well lived in area. So Brandy has obviously had her baby. and she is looking so stunning, even in her bathing suit. She's so cute. Here is Don. Here is Dustin Broke himself. He is a teenager still. He has not aged up yet. Because I am actually making all of them preteens because I do play with the preteen mod, just so I can play with them a little bit more before they age and are like completely in line with their parents' ages, because some of their parents, like Brandy, are young adults in this. And I think it would be a little bit weird if they aged up too quickly. So I'm trying to kind of keep them as like preteens or whatever, because I think it would be a good idea. And if I look at Dustin's age, it's not going to say that he's a preteen, but he's definitely a preteen because I'm considering preteen to be the first half of the teen aspiration, or the teen bar, and the second half is going to actually be teen. So he is actually going to be a preteen. And I think when I played them, I think I forgot to actually give him the preteen trait, which is kind of weird. But anyways, I think that it's really cool that Dustin is gonna kind of be around for a little bit longer for Brandy, because like in The Sims 2, you know, she is pregnant and then he moves out pretty quickly after, after having the second or her third baby. So yeah, so this is kind of like what the inside of the trailer looks like. It kind of is very run down, and that's honestly, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for a well lived in area, but also like not too like awful looking at the same time. And I feel like the house would be covered in baby stuff because obviously she's got Bo, and then she's got the new baby, which I'll introduce you to. So this is kind of like what they're going with. And then this is Dustin's room, of course, like some grime and stuff on the floors and stuff. I feel like these walls are different. I don't feel like this is what I chose, but maybe I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. Anyways, so he's got like the very like emo kind of looking room with like, you know, the what are those called? You know, those sneakers. I can't even think of it. I don't know. It's late. I'm tired. This is their bathroom. So it looks very run down. Like there's a big crack on the floor. The tub is like looks really dingy. The green stains on the floor from probably like all the baths or whatever. And then you've got a little water heater closet. You've got the toddler and infant room for Bo and the new baby when it ages up. And then you have Brandy's room here, and the baby sleeps in her room for right now. I think this trailer is absolutely stunning the way I have decorated it, and you know, Brandy really does deserve it, honestly. I think she deserves the world. I think she's the sweetest lady, and I just honestly see her as like a real sweetheart who just wants to make everyone's life wonderful. She named her baby Ashton, by the way. I just figured we could start at the beginning of the alphabet because in The Sims 2, I base it on like what letters of the alphabet I didn't have the most in. For this, I'm just gonna name them A through Z, and we're just gonna go through there, and then eventually we'll just probably fill out or whatever. But yeah, his name is Ashton. Ashton Broke is his name, and she's absolutely in love with him. She is so excited to be a mom again. Even knowing it's hard because she's technically alone for this one. She's still such a wonderful mom. She has such a great relationship with her next door neighbor, Darren, and he comes over and hangs out with her quite a little bit. She also is friends with Dina, which kind of surprises me a little bit, and Nina as well. And she obviously is friends with like her kids and stuff. And Mary Sue is another one that she kind of leans on. The only people she doesn't really like are Coral, Oldie and John Burb, and Gilbert Jacques. And I'm not really quite sure why of this one because they're attracted to each other. But Coral, I know that she kind of got into a little spat with Coral at the park. I don't remember why or what happened, but they got into like a little spat with each other. Maybe it was over Mary Sue because you know, Herb is not being the greatest about Mary Sue's pregnancy, which we'll get into. And John Burb, I don't know. I just feel like she kind of is creeped out by John Burb because he's a very kind soul, in my opinion. But I feel like he's like one of those people that's like overly like touchy. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I just mean like he likes to give hugs and, he like rubs you on your shoulder or like rubs your back or like whatever, like when you don't want it, you know what I mean? Like when you don't want to be touched. Or like there's just some people that just don't know boundaries, just don't know space. And I feel like he's kind of like that. And I just feel like it kind of creeps Brandy out, especially with what she's gone through with her ex-husband, or her late husband, I guess I should say, not ex, Skip, and losing him. I just think it's kind of a little bit much at the moment for her, and she just kind of can't handle it. And unfortunately, she is just at it, like, at odds with him because of it. And I mean, I don't blame her in a sense. I totally get where she's coming from. She's in a really rough place, raising a son who's going through it about losing his dad and is acting out, and then trying to raise two little ones. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of sometimes would want your space or whatever. So I totally get it. But she's a wonderful mom, and she has welcomed her baby Ashton into the world, which I'm so excited to see what he looks like. All right, let's move on to the next family, which is going to be the Dreamers. All right, so here we are with the Dreamers. Oh my gosh, it's raining. So the Dreamers house has had a renovation this rotation, and so did the Brokes, by the way. So this is what the outside of the Dreamer household looks like, and I did really try to keep the shape, like I said. I didn't want to like change the homes. I just want to make them look nice. And I think this looks stunning. Though I really do hate that that's clipping through, so I might try to drag this down a little bit. Anyways, we're not here for critiquing. Actually, they could just go up. Okay, anyways. Let me go ahead and give you like a little brief tour. Now, they are very broke, as you know, the Dreamers are. This is Darren's room, which I absolutely love his room. It's a little dusty. Please forgive us. This is their upstairs hallway. I figured this would have been a couch that Darren and Darlene would have had, like coming out of high school or university, I guess, or wherever they come from. Exactly. He didn't technically go to university, so maybe he was maybe they just like moved in after high school together. But I figured this would have been like their first couch together, and so he kept it as like memorabilia of Darlene and the love that he has for her. He also has his little painting studio, and I gave him like the little water closet, but I put a curtain over it because I thought that was nice. They have like a little walk-in shower and toilet and sink. No mirror in the bathroom because I don't think every bathroom needs a mirror per se. I mean, you guys in real life probably, but like not in The Sims. Anyways, downstairs they have a broken mirror and another walk-in shower kind of thing. This is Dirk's room. So Dirk sleeps here on the bottom floor, of course. This is their living room. It was winter when I was playing them, so I did put up a Christmas tree, which is just made of bulbs. I think that after Darlene passed, I think it would be hard for Darren to kind of get in the spirit of Christmas, especially because it's the time of like, um, you know, it's like the gift of giving kind of season, and like being around the time of like Thanksgiving is like the time of being thankful for what you have. And unfortunately, has lost the love of his life, and so he is still in a bit of a sad point in life where he hasn't quite found someone who completes him yet, but I think him and Brandy might be kind of getting close. This is another one of those couches. I think it would have come as like a set. And then over here, I gave them like a desk, a little stereo. This is their kitchen, which I absolutely love. And these are like pictures. I think that maybe they like after they got married, then maybe they went to like New York City or whatever, and they were like pictures they took. That's why there's also the same kind of pictures upstairs. And then instead of having this just be like an open to the elements kind of porch, I made it a screened in porch, and I absolutely love this idea. I think it's so wonderful. I went and found these CC windows to try and make this look like a screen in porch, and you can kind of see all the like little holes for like the screen part of it. I think it just really completes this more than I could have ever asked for, and I absolutely love the way this came out. I am in love with their home, and this family is so sweet. And Dirk is very serious about his girlfriend, Lilith. They are absolutely in love. They probably couldn't be any happier. They spend so much time together, and Lilith spends so much time over here. And Darren absolutely loves Lilith. He thinks she's a sweetheart. And he really feels for her because of her whole situation back at home with her parents and her sister. So that is also something that Darren is dealing with, is almost like raising two teens instead of one because Lilith spends so much time here. He also has been, as we know, in love with Cassandra, but now that she's moved on with Don Lothario, even knowing, I'm pretty sure Darren knows that he cheats on her. He doesn't say anything because he doesn't want to hurt her feelings or like upset her. And he really doesn't think Cassandra would listen to him at this point because she doesn't see it. She doesn't see the cheating. And he just thinks that instead she would get upset with him and think that it was him being jealous, of her being happy. And so he's just kind of like letting it play out. But I think that if it ended up coming down to it and Darren wasn't with Brandy by the time Cassandra finds out that Don is cheating, I think that what would happen is he would try to pick up the pieces with Cassandra and be the love of her life that he has always wanted to kind of be, but he's always been put on the back burner when it comes to her. So that's kind of what's going on with these guys, is as Cassandra is moving on with her life, Darren's kind of moving on with the lady who lives next door. And they kind of go hand in hand if you think about it, because Darren and Brandy both have lost their spouses. And so in that sense, they have something to bond over and to help each other heal with. And they totally get how each other is feeling. So I feel like it is something that is going to bring them closer together, but only time will tell. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. Next up, let's go meet the Pleasants. All right, and now this is one of the last households I'm going to show you, because these are like pretty much the only households that you would start like a Sims 2 series out with. Even though I didn't really show you the Goths, I did talk about them. And they live here. I did not do this renovation because this is such a big house, and the renovation, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it kind of irks me that it's so big, especially because you technically have to do this renovation twice. You'd have to do it once for the Goths and once for the Roths. And I've already done the Roths, and I didn't really want to do the Goths because I didn't want to spend the time to do it. But I did get this off the gallery. I don't take credit for it at all, but I will be renovating it to my own liking. There is some things about it that I love, and there's some things about it that I hate. So I will be changing some of it up. Anyways, let's get into this, because this is probably one of the most shocking ones. Now, I did do their renovation of their home this rotation as well. Excuse me. And this is what it looks like. It looks completely different in my opinion, but I tried to make the roofing look better and not so crazy. I also did put in these circular windows because I just think they give it kind of a bit of a character. And I really, really like the way this came out, honestly. It doesn't help that it's raining all the time in this save file, but we are where we are. This is their pool, of course. I gave them the water slides now that they're out. They also have a swing set, but I think I want to change out what swing set they have because this doesn't really match the house. I also didn't realize there was this stuff out here when I did the renovation. I don't know how I missed that. And I did let them keep their grill, of course. So on the bottom floor, when you come into the home, it is this little entranceway right here. Please forgive this. We won't go into what that is about because I don't want to give away any of the little secrets that I have to show you still. So this is the entranceway, of course, and I did add a wall here to the kitchen because I just think closing it off a little bit but keeping it kind of more open than what it originally was is really, really nice. I still kept like the archway going in. I think it was originally like here or something, but I wanted to put it here at the angled wall, and I just kind of left this kind of open. I really like it. I think it adds a little bit to the character of the building. I also kept their dining room here where I would have put it in The Sims 2. The fireplace is very offset on this one, and I'm not really sure why. Because I don't think it's like that in The Sims 2, but it's okay. It doesn't really irk me that much, and I'm okay with it. I did also put in like what's going to be a little bathroom, though they have like no money, so I couldn't add it in right now. But they do have this bathroom, which is a full bath, which is beautiful. They also have their living room, and they have a little puppy. The puppy's name is Chandler and is so sweet. They have this really nice TV and another fireplace. This is where their desk is, and they have like this really, really beautiful couch. Um, and then they also have their workout room still. Got rid of the like weightlifting bench thing and just put the weights in with like a boxing thing and then the bike to use. This like spin bike kind of thing. So that's the bottom floor. Then when you go up, you're on this landing. Please forgive all the dust. I just didn't have a vacuum to give them at the time and they were really broke. There's a yoga mat over here in this like little tucked in corner. I thought that would be like more of Mary Sue's thing. This here is Angela's room, and she's also going to have her own ensuite, which is why there's a circular window. Her and Dustin both slept in this bed together. That's why he looks like he has a place in this house or like a bed spot in this house, but he doesn't technically. This is Angela's room, of course. This is Lilith's. So Lilith has this room and she has it all black. She has like more tattered like sheets and stuff, blankets and stuff. She has a bunch of records, which I think would be like her favorite sets of music. And then I gave her like little records here on the floor or on the side table. She also has a camera because I kind of see her as like a photographer. I don't know why I see her like that, but I just kind of do. She also has her own ensuite. I think it's a little bit smaller, if maybe not. She also has a walk-in closet, technically, by the way. And then there is the other bathroom for the hallway. Again, we're really broke in this household, so please forgive me. We just don't have the money for it. This here is mom and dad's room. This is Daniel and Mary Sue's bedroom. So they have their double wardrobe. They have their fireplace with a little sitting area in front of it to, enjoy each other's company. They have their very beautiful bed with these wonderful wall coverings, which I absolutely adore. And they have a very nice big bathroom, which has a double sink, but it's only got the one actual sink, which I kind of think is unique, and then a really big mirror. And they also have the combo shower tub combo thing. So I really, really love their room. I think it is wonderful. I love their house. And getting into the conversation about them, this is another household where the sim was abducted, and Daniel Pleasant is pregnant with an alien baby. And he is terrified of aliens now, which I just find to be ironic because as much as he impregnates other women, being a romance sim and all, he is now feeling the wrath of being pregnant. And I think this is like karma. Karma has been served to poor Daniel, and his belly is so big. It looks so funny. And every time I see him in public, I get a good chuckle. So it is perfect that he's still pregnant for another rotation. And but not unfortunately, because I'm excited that Mary Sue is actually expecting hers and Daniel's third child. And I'm so excited. This has literally been the best round or best rotation so far round, I guess, yet. Because there's so many babies coming and there's so much to look forward to. And it's been so much fun playing this. I've really enjoyed it so much. Mary Sue also is having a bit of a rough place with Daniel because he's been a little bit distant lately and she doesn't know why. So she reached out to her mom and her dad, which is Coral and Herb Oldie, if you don't know. And she wanted to share her good news with them because she was feeling a little bit down about the Daniel situation and him being so distant. And she wanted to tell them that she was expecting their third grandbaby. So she told her mom, and her mom, being her mom, was elated. She couldn't believe her ears. She was so excited. And they were like loving on each other. And her mom was like rubbing her belly. And I wasn't even doing any of this. It was literally playing out like this in game. And I was so happy for her. And then she told her dad. And let's just say it was the complete opposite. he was mad that she was having another baby with Daniel. And I think it's because, honestly, Herb is a romance sim. And I feel like romance sims are like those types of sims that, like, it's almost like, and don't take this the wrong way, but it's almost like a gay person. When they walk up to another gay person, they can just tell. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a sixth sense. You see what I'm saying? I feel like it's kind of the same thing with romance sims in the Sims game. Like when they walk up to each other and they meet each other, they instantly know that that person is like a romance sim. And so I just feel like he kind of knows like what he's doing behind her back, but again, he doesn't want to ruin his daughter's life and make her live, unhappy, especially when she is so happy with Daniel, knowing that she doesn't know anything about Kaylin or anything. So, her having this baby, she's really excited, but her dad was not excited. And it really, really crushed her heart. Like, she is so upset with him about the whole situation. And they just kind of lost a bit of their friendship from it. Like, look at her with her mom and then look at her with her dad. Like, it really did take a toll on their relationship. And I hope before his passing, I hope Mary Sue will actually come through and, rekindle that friendship with him. I don't know if it'll happen. She's kind of this family's kind of known for holding grudges and like keeping things under wraps and like never actually forgiving anyone. And I think that's kind of like a problem. So it does concern me a little bit. Um, and then you have like Angela who is sleeping with, her boyfriend, having unprotected woohoo with him, and is in a bit of a pickle now as a teenager because they woohooed. And so there's 3 pregnancies here in this one family. All at the same time. Who could have guessed? But Dustin is freaking out because Angela told him that she's pregnant and they haven't told their parents yet. And Dustin is freaking out because, he's already trying to financially help his mom stay afloat and to raise his 2 little brothers. And now he's supposed to raise his own kid. Like, how is he supposed to do that? So he's a little bit irked. He's a little bit weirded out, especially because, he tried telling Angela, like, we have to be really careful. I can't afford to, like, I don't want to have a baby. I don't think that he means like forever. I just think he means like right now. And then this happens. And like, how is he going to tell his mom, And Angela's parents are like, they're well more capable financially and like family wise of having someone help Angela out with the baby. But like, what about Dustin? Like, he doesn't have much, you know what I'm saying? He's working like a part-time job to help his mom make bills. Nobody, like, Angela doesn't have to lift a finger to help her parents pay bills, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's a big difference between the two kind of like social classes that they're in. And he's also thinking like, they're about to go to college. This is going to change everything. So they're in a bit of a pickle now. And then we have Lilith, who is completely feeling the wrath of the family. Like, she still gets treated like garbage by her mom, whom she's kind of tried to rekindle that friendship a little bit. She also has started kind of hanging out with Gordon King because he sees her as one of those kids who's like a troubled kid, and he feels like he can take her under his wing. Now, obviously, he's not a good person because we all know he's the burglar in The Sims 2. So he's not a very good person to be friends with, I guess. But Dustin is also friends with him, and Lilith knows that. And so it kind of makes her feel like it's okay in a sense. She's also very attracted to Dirk and in love with him wholeheartedly. She would never do anything to hurt him, honestly. I think that they'll be together till the end. At this point anyways. She also doesn't really like her dad, but her and Angela are kind of on the up and up. Like, they're going in the right direction with their friendship. And I feel like it's because Angela can't tell her parents about the baby because, Angela's supposed to be like the goody two shoes. She's not supposed to be any kid that like gets in trouble or does like anything naughty, but she has. And so I feel like she's scared to tell her parents. So she ended up telling Lilith about it. And Lilith was really comforting and like rubbing her arms and trying to make her feel better. And it was like the most sweetest moment in my entire life. And I was in awe. I literally could not believe how loving she was to her twin sister, even knowing her twin sister had treated her so badly in the past. Now, that pretty much covers everything except for one person, and that would be Miss Kaylin Langerak. She had, I guess, and like the Burbs and the Oldies are also in here, but like, I don't know if you guys want to hear about them. Kaylin Langerak did end up getting pregnant, and she ended up having a baby. And as we all know, Kaylin is one of those people that you know about because of the scandal that's happening in The Sims 2, more so. But she ended up having those same affairs. I played out all the scripted events from The Sims 2. I played them all. And so she ended up woohooing with both of those, with both Don Lothario and with Daniel Pleasant in The Sims 4. Ended up finding out that she was pregnant. And at the time, she didn't really know if it was Don or if it was Daniel because they were pretty close to the same day when she found out she was gonna have a baby. And so she told both of them that she was expecting, but she didn't tell them that there was a possibility it wasn't theirs. Don took it fine. He was very, reassuring, like, if you need me to help you with this, I'll do anything I can in a sense. But I don't want to be like a hands-on dad. He was very upfront and honest about it. And then there was Daniel, who was ecstatic at the time when he found out. He was so excited that him and Kaylin were going to have a baby. This is before he found out he was having a baby and before he also found out that Mary Sue is having a baby. So, he was really, really excited to be a dad. And then Kaylin decided to do a paternity test without telling the fathers. She, snuck some hair or however she would do that without telling them. And ended up being that it was Don Lothario's baby. So she has not told Daniel that it's not his kid yet. So he keeps coming over to her house and like interacting with the kids thinking they're his. But in the end, they're Don Lothario's, and they're going to look like Don Lothario, which means that now Don Lothario is up to 4 kids already in the second rotation of my megahood for The Sims 4. And I think Daniel is really in love with Kaylin, but I also think he loves Mary Sue. But he is thinking these are his kids, and so he is really, really spending a lot of time with Kaylin at the moment. Kaylin still hasn't told him because secretly Kaylin wants to get married to Daniel. She got the wish when I was playing her to get engaged to Daniel. And I definitely could see her trying to persuade him to leave and playing off the babies as his just because she knows Don isn't going to be there or like be a hands-on dad kind of thing, and she wants that for her kids. So I could see her like playing it off that they're still Daniel's, even knowing they're not biologically his. And she ended up actually having twin girls, and we named them I know one is Diamond and the other one is Cassidy. So those are the 2 babies that she had, are Cassidy and Diamond, and they're Lothario babies. And she gave them her last name, and I think she did that and told Daniel she did that because she didn't want them to for anyone to know, especially like Mary Sue to find out by any chance, because she named them with the last name. So he's in a little bit of a pickle because he's very much so in love with Kaylin, but not so much in love not so much so in love with Mary Sue anymore, but they're having a baby together. And I think that's kind of keeping him here in a sense. And also, he has his twin girls here as well. So yeah, and Kaylin lives in one of the apartments next to Nina Caliente, upstairs on the other side by Nina. That's where Kaylin lives. So she's not in a really good place, honestly, because raising twins in that tiny little apartment is not going to happen. So she's going to need money, and I don't know how that's going to happen because honestly, Don Lothario is the one that needs to pay her child support, but Daniel, I feel like, is going to try and pay her stuff because he feels like they're his and he doesn't want to burden her, especially because he really, really loves her. I don't think he would want to burden her. So that's kind of the love triangle going on there. Um, that's all of the Sims that you would start out with in The Sims 2 if you were to start up a new neighborhood. I don't think I missed anyone. Obviously, I didn't talk about the burbs or the oldies, so if you guys want to hear more about the rest of my save file, this is just my personal game, let me know. But I'm hoping that you guys are gonna enjoy this and you guys want to hear more about some of the other things happening in my world. I'm obviously still on rotation too, so not anything more has happened. There are the people that I have that live in Pleasant View at the moment, but they're not like the Pleasant View Sims from The Sims 2, if that makes sense. Some of them are just extra people that I've added in and put them into like apartments or whatever. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you guys did, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I would love to hear what you guys think about this, and also I'd love to hear what's going on in your guys' save file or your guys' current game that you're playing. I would love to hear so much about it, so please leave it down in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys in my very next one. Thanks very much for watching.